Today, I want to talk about CM2, my thoughts about it, what I've been reading, what I've been seeing, and what I've been researching, and the different things that we can come to expect once that time gets to us. I do want to make a disclaimer for this video. I am not going to be the most knowledgeable person when it comes to CMs. However, what I can say is, based off of everything that I've researched, at the very least, I can give general roundabouts that are going to be more realistic for people who may not have as much time to play the game, or for people who may not have as much luck at getting high rolls. You know, some people may say, oh, you want 1200 speed, 1200 stamina. Okay, well, I'm gonna be real with you, I ain't never came close to that. And I've had like 2 different high rolls and they aren't close to that. So I want to kind of temper expectations while also lowering what we're going to be aiming for with this video. If you're aiming to be the top of the top and be the winner of Group A finals, this may not be the video for you. There are plenty of different content creators who I'm sure have made wonderful videos, and there are many other documents and guides, whether they be on Discord or on Reddit or wherever it may be, that would definitely help you if that's what you're aiming for. But if you're aiming for something that may be like, hey, I just want to get some good carrots, whether it be in the Group B finals, or if it's, hey, I want to try to just get Group A, maybe finals number 3. That's kind of where I want to temper this video's expectations, so that way we're not grinding 24/7, and we also don't have to have generational luck when it comes to building these Umas. Oh, and most importantly, if you just want to play with your favorite characters, then let's go ahead and look for different kind of stats that we want to look for them, so that way we can at least get to playing with them and then turn around and use them instead of running meta characters. So the first question that comes to mind is, what do we know about CM2? Well, we actually know all the CMs here because of Game Tora. If you just go to articles and then you go to champions meetings, you'll come to this page, scroll down. This is the first one and this is the second one. Based off of this, we know it's going to be a Kyoto. We know it's going to be turf. It's going to be a standard distance because this number is divisible by 400. We know it's going to be long, right-handed, firm, spring, and sunny. Now, if we take these characteristics and we go to the skill page over here, and then we can say, hey, if I want to get this green skill, I want Kyoto. If I want to take the right-handed, then I'm going to get some speed out of this. So now we can at least start to see what smaller, cheaper costing green skills are we going to be able to buy. The next thing is I want to compare what my experiences of CM1 were and how I am hoping that they'll continue to be, at least maybe the trends will be the same when it comes to CM2. In CM1 in my qualifiers, I met a lot of people that did not have the correct stats, they did not have the correct skills, and they were just going in there with possibly team trial characters. Maybe they heard, hey, these stats are way too super high, I don't have the cards, I don't have the luck, I don't have the time. They just went in with what they had. Cool, totally fine. Makes it easier for me. When it went to the semifinals, now it started looking like, oh, these people are getting the correct stats, but they don't have the correct skills. Or it may have been the opposite of they have the correct skills, but they're still missing those stats. And so in the semifinals, that's where I kind of saw they were still a little bit missed synergy in there. Thanks to my stream, I was able to watch many different people's finals runs and kind of look at different characters of who won first, what got second, what got third. And in there, people were getting close as possible to the ideal stats, if you will. And they had, you know, 3/4 or maybe missing 1 skill for everything that they wanted. So they were very close to having that ideal package for those characters when it was at least looking at Group A finals. I myself also made it to Group A finals. I made 2nd place, and it is what it is. So I was able to kind of gauge based off of, I don't know, maybe 20, 25, 30 different runs from different people of their finals to kind of say, okay, hey, this is kind of the stepping stones that I saw from qualifiers up to finals. With CM1, there was typically one strat, and that was going to be run your gold ship, run some debuffers, and let's get it going. However, for CM2, I have been reading a bunch of different strategies. Some people are going to stick to that end closer style, whether it be gold ship, whether it be Narita Taishin. Some people are saying in order to counter that, we're going to bring a sacrificial front runner who is going to just die off, so that way we can have Daiwa Scarlet slingshot forward so that she can create as much distance away from the gold ship as possible. I've also seen other strats that say if they play Narita Taishin, they're gonna have a Haru Urara run in the back so that way Taishin doesn't get her sleeping lion off. I've seen multiple people say, oh well, if that's the case, then I'm gonna use this to counter that. And so now we're in CM1, it was more of one strategy. CM2 is almost feeling like a Pokemon thing. Well, if I run water, I'm gonna beat fire, but if they run grass, I lose to that. And then it goes into that little circle. And of course, there may be more different variations as time goes on and as we get closer to that. The main thing that I want to take away from that is there are so many different styles and variations that I really feel like, because it's 3,200 meters and because it's going to be such a stamina intensive track, I feel like some people are going to look to just running their favorite characters and calling it a day, because some people, or maybe a majority of people, are just going to gas out and not even make it through the rest of the race. So with that being said, if I were going to run XYZ style, what kind of stats am I going to be wanting? Before we answer that question, I want to make sure that we understand one fundamental about the game. The more speed we have, the more stamina we are going to require, because we are running at a faster pace. Kind of like in real life. If I'm running slower, I can go a further distance because I'm not draining my stamina as quickly. So the same thing would apply to here. If you're gonna aim for 1200 speed, you're definitely going to need the 1200 stamina plus multiple gold skills to keep up. However, again, I don't have generational luck like that. Even if I have the time, I don't have the luck. So I want to temper my expectations and say, hey, if I can just get to Group A finals, or if I can just get to Group B finals and get first place, I will be totally happy with that. So what will my stats that I'm aiming for look like? Preferably, I would love to get 1000 speed, 1200 stamina, and then turn around and get whatever equivalent of power that may be. I'd love to have 600 or higher, but if I get like 580, whatever, that's totally fine. I can compensate those with different green skills if I get lucky during that run and get those hints, or if I have white sparks on my legacies to give me those hints, and if those hints hit. On top of that, we could also take a look and say if we can get that S long, then that will give us extra speed for free. So when it comes to the different styles, pace is always going to use the most stamina, and then front runners, and then late surgers, and then end closers. So end closers will actually need less stamina compared to pace or front runners. If you're going to run the pace position and you're going to aim for that 1000 speed, personally, I would get as high as possible that you can. If you get 1100, if you get 1200, that would be perfect. But you want to supplement your stamina with 2 gold skills and 1 white skill. Now you might say, hey, that sounds really expensive. Yeah, it is, and we'll get to the skills a little bit later. When it comes to the front runners, you may not need that 1200 if you have that 1000 speed, but we are going to want to look to still grab those 2 gold skills, and you may not need that white skill. For late surgers, our stamina is going to get lower and lower, so if we go for 1000 speed, I would say probably about 1100 stamina, get 2 gold skills, will be fine. And then when we go to end closers, if we go for 1000 speed, get that 1100 stam, we could probably get away with 1 gold and 2 whites, but I would still really push to get 2 golds at minimum just to be safe. The worst thing that could happen is you don't even make it to the finish line because you gas out, and we want to avoid that. With that being said, what are some skills that I want to look for if I'm going to play XYZ position? If you're going to be playing pace or late, I'm sorry, I tried my best. I love Tokai Teio, so I was trying to find some great pace skills for her, and it just ain't there. It just ain't there. Our time to shine ain't right now. It's going to be dark times for quite a bit. However, if you are going to run the pace position, you may want to look for the stamina skills, because we'll have access to those. Something like Gourmand off of this special week card, and then you could also take Breath of Fresh Air from the event, and then you could take Swinging Maestro from Super Creek. Now that's going to be 1000 points roughly right there, so the build is already very expensive. That's just 3 skills. Now, if you want to turn around and say, oh, I'll just take a couple green skills, and let's say you take right-handed would give you a little bit of extra speed, or if you wanted to take the Kyoto race course, that would give you extra stamina. Those are going to be on the cheaper side, and those wouldn't be too terrible. If you high roll your way into a lot of skill points, other uniques that you may want to consider are going to be Megiddo McQueen's Duty of Dignity Calls, because this is giving us target speed. You may want to look at Triumphant Pulse from Ogre Cap, because at that 200 we'll still get more target speed. If you still need another one for whatever reason, then Symboli Rudolph's won't be as terrible. But the problem here is that you have to pass 3 runners. Now, the reason why I'm saying those skills is because of how the track is laid out. In the last CM, we had skills from Taiki Shuttle, from Maruzensky, that were on the final corner that increased our acceleration. Those aren't going to be as useful here, because if you take a look at the last lap, the final corner is over here. That means we have all of this time to reach our target speed, so acceleration from the final corner isn't going to be as good. If you can find acceleration in this area, this would be very good. So if we're already too late to get acceleration here, we want to go ahead and just start taking target speed instead. That's why I mentioned Megiddo McQueen, Symboli Rudolph, Ogre Cap. Other characters like Special Week or Tokai Teio may be a little bit more difficult to get their skill procs, but we are still going to be getting target speed, which is going to be more ideal since we'll already hit our ceiling by the time we get to this area right here, in theory. Now, if you're playing front runners, you are going to be wanting a couple different things. If you're worried that there may be other front runners because people like Saiyan Sky will be coming out right around the start of CM, if you're worried that other people may be playing front runner, you're gonna want the groundwork combo. Now, groundwork means you gotta have 3 skills activate, and then groundwork will hit, and then you can zoom out of the gate. Typically, the way that would work is you would want your green skills, because those always proc once the race starts. So those things, like we said earlier, Kyoto, long, right-handed, spring, things like that would be very good for this particular combo. If you're not too worried about that, then something like Escape Artist would help you kind of push forward to break away from the pack and hopefully gain as much distance away from Gold Ship as possible. Very quickly, the reason why I keep on mentioning these green skills is for something like Kyoto Racecourse. If you have 1200 stamina, you see that it says stamina stat up by 40. This will overcap you, so you'll go from 1200 to 1240. And so green skills like this are very valuable if you're able to get those on your run. Now, for end closers, this is why I said I personally am going to be running Tokai Teio as an end closer, is for this one skill called Straightaway Spurt. It says, if we look here, it cannot be on a corner. You have to be an end closer, and it has to be during the late spurt, or excuse me, the last spurt condition, not the last spurt on this area here. So what the last spurt condition is once you get to the final leg, which begins right here at this blue double arrow, if your character has enough stamina, they will say, hey, I can run as fast as I can from here until the very end and not gas out. And so that's why we want so much stamina. We want so many recovery skills, because once we get to this point, we want to be able to, run as hard and as fast as we can until the end. Straightaway spurt is if we meet that condition, we have from here until this point right here for straightaway spurt to proc. And if we can get that to proc, then we will get that acceleration, meaning we get to our top speed faster, and we will just right around this corner here and pushing us forward into the final corner. And so that's why personally I'm going to run that Tokai Teio as an end closer, because it gives her some kind of help. Now, with these skills, with these stats, and with these examples of different things that you may be wanting going forward, where would this put me? Now, this is all just my theory based off of what I've seen from CM1. I really think this could get you to Group B finals maybe first place. If not, if you can squeak out a third win, I really do think that this could get you to Group A finals, third place. Either one of those is still fine with me personally. One, I won't need generational luck. Two, I won't need every single thing to high roll into oblivion. Three, I won't need to spend as much time as I potentially did for CM1 because now I'm lowering my expectations. And so if you're cool with that, which for me, if that means I get to run Tokai Teio, and yes, I gotta jump through a couple more hoops, I'm totally fine with that because now I can run my favorite character and I can do exactly what it is that I want to do. Now, there are so many more things if you're trying to push towards that higher echelon, but for someone that has bad luck, maybe not a lot of time, maybe you don't have the cards, whatever it may be, if you kind of aim for this, I really and truly do feel this will be able to beat out quite a bit of the player base just based off of what I saw from CM1. And if I'm wrong in the future, and you know, I'm going to be aiming for the same thing. If I'm wrong in the future, I'm going to be like, hey, I'm wrong. You know, and if anything that I say is wrong and I need to correct it, then I'll be sure to make another video to correct it, or I'll type it in the comments and pin it or something just to make sure that we get the correct information out. But as far as what I've researched, what I've talked about, and what I've been seeing from different documents, I really think that for bad luck, I can go for this and still be fine. If you enjoy this kind of content, as far as Umamusume is concerned, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to see more Umamusume content. Here is a massive shout out to all my current channel members. Thank you so much for supporting me and the channel. I also do want to say thank you so much, love, for the recent video talking about being able to play with your favorite characters. And I do feel like if we're going to play with our favorite characters, I want to at least kind of give us some help to say, hey, where can we go if I'm going to play with my favorite characters? What is it do I need? And all that good stuff. So thank you so much for the support and the love that y'all showed on that video. I hope that I can help us going forward so that we can continue playing with our favorite characters. If you enjoyed the video and found it helpful, be sure to share it with your friends, with your family, and with your family's friends. And I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.